All right, so we got the finale of Agatha All Along this week. It was a two-part finale. They released both episodes on the same day, and there was a giant twist at the end of the show. I like the look.
Okay. Okay.
um, and I don't know. I think I need to rewatch some of it because I'm not sure I can. I don't know if I saw the twist coming or not. A lot of people said they did. So, um, but before we get to that, curious what we thought of the finale and what we thought of the show overall. Uh, Don, you look like you're deep, deep, deep in thought, so you can go first.
Wonderful. Thank you for that. um, as far as the two-part finale, I would give it 6 capes out of 10. My main complaint would be the pacing, which also kind of bleeds over to my main complaint of the whole series. And I'll probably elaborate more on that as we get into spoilers. But I just think that we take a lot of time to get where we're going, both in the finale and in the show in general. I do like ultimately the twist is meh. It's like okay, whatever. It's I don't know. It's lame-ish, but I don't. Well, I don't want to go into spoilers, but there was very cool action, in these couple of episodes, and a lot of cool stuff going on. You pretty much get the origin of Wiccan, and I like it, but it was just a little long-winded in places. So I'm definitely like a 6 capes out of 10, for the finale and series as a whole, to be honest with you.
I, this isn't a movie review, so don't worry about spoilers. We're not going to differentiate. So if you haven't watched it, I'll say that right now. If you haven't watched it, we're going to probably spoil it a little bit. So go watch it and come back and finish watching this. But I'm sure if you watch this show, you've already seen the finale. So that being said, Randy, what did you think of the finale?
Well, it's over. That's what I got out of it. Well, it's over. I don't know why, but when I woke up that morning and I saw like there was 2 episodes, and I was like, really? I feel like you guys just gave up. Like, no, Disney said we couldn't do it longer than another week, so here's 2 episodes. Fuck it, we're done. Moving on. But like, I went to work. I was gonna save these episodes for later, and then one of the guys at work, he knows who I am and what I like to talk about. And he's like, "Did you see the Agatha shows? Like, did you see the end?" No, I'm waiting until I get home. Until I'm waiting to go. Oh yeah, okay. It's like it's gonna be good. It's so good. I was like, don't do that. You're gonna spoil it because
Right.
I'm just you're gonna hype me up, and I'm gonna be excited to watch it. I'm gonna sit down and I had some time. I sat down and I watched it, and I was like, okay. I sometimes hate the internet, and I sometimes hate my brain. I really do. Because it's like, why do you steal joy from me? Why can't I just enjoy things like surprises? I don't know. Just that's all it was. Because I was like, yeah, I knew this. Why did you guys not know this? That makes total sense. I mean, then it's an ultimatum. Okay. What I didn't get, and I was like, oh, okay. So yeah, but we'll I mean, there's more to it, but it's like, yeah, I understand the finer details of things, but I got to the end and I was like, all right, Young Avengers, let's go.
Yeah. It's funny too, because like I thought it was an odd choice. The 2 episodes and releasing them on the same day was like okay, and I feel like somebody at Marvel or Disney went 8 episodes. That's the formula. Make it work within 8 episodes. And so, as I said, I already said spoiler warnings. It was a weird choice because the end of the 7th episode, and I didn't watch them on the same day too. I want to preface it with that. I ended up watching episode 7 on Wednesday, and I didn't get to see the 8th episode till after Halloween on Thursday. And it's an odd choice in my opinion, because you could have ended the show at the end of the 7th episode, right? The whole 8th episode is to give you a long flashback, a really way too long flashback of Agatha making up the road, right?
Yeah.
Spoiler, the road wasn't real. She made it up as a way to trick witches to steal their power. But like there's a really long build up for that, and then we get a quick, so we find like the 7th episode ends, Agatha is quote unquote dead,
Mhm.
and Billy comes home, little wounded from the battle.
Has
Looks
his
like,
usual suspects like revisioning of shit, and I was like, "This is your room. How are these
right,
revelations to you?"
Right.
Agatha. Okay, yes, that's part of what I wanted to bring up. Agatha appears to sacrifice herself to save him. He goes back to his room, and then he's looking at his own stuff that he would have only collected in the last 3 years. This wasn't stuff from when he was a child. This is the last 3 years of him, Billy Maximoff, in William's body.
Mhm.
And he goes, "Oh crap, it was me." And you hear Agatha's cackle, and that's how the episode ends. And they could have ended the whole show right there and have been like, "Oh, cool," and
Oh.
left you like wanting more.
So you know what I expected with that last episode with like the Witches Road thing? I want, because yeah, I don't know if you've ever seen, there was a show called Swarm on Amazon. Did you guys?
Okay.
Okay, but the show Swarm follows this woman who, the whole premise of the story is actually a true story. There was a woman who was obsessed with a pop star and then attacked that pop star on stage in Houston. And like and Donald Glover made a whole show about it. And the last episode is a retelling of the entire series through the lens of a documentary. So that we know the true story at the very end.
Right.
And I was like, that would be a cool tie-in to your first episode, where it's like we started with a makeshift television and that broke, and then we end with a makeshift television that breaks at the end and explains where we're going. And it's like, oh, yeah. And then like, I don't know, we'll bring in randos from like other character properties and like witches throughout histories in the MCU, and then talking about the Witches Road and how it like affected them. And it's like, here we're uncover the truth of the Witches Road, that it's actually a fake. It doesn't exist. Never did. And it's like, what? Well, yeah, we have Stephen Strange here to tell us more. And I was like, and I thought it was going to be like that, where it's like a mockumentary documentary of the Witches Road following Agatha's lifestyle. And it's like, yeah, we got that. But you're right. It's just a 45-minute flashback of, well, sometimes little boys die. And then it's like, oh, this is all fake. The whole thing was a ploy. It was a con. She was a fake, a flawed, or charlatan. She was never meant to take anyone down any kind of road. And the fact that it even went down it, she's like, I don't know what the fuck's going on.
Right. And that's the thing, right? It's like, I want to talk about, because you said it, and I totally agree with you. Like, Billy's like, oh my God, it was me. Like, he didn't realize the entire time all the trials were like things that were related to him, or taking the shoes off was it. And it's funny because I did go back and someone pointed that out, it was Billy who says to take your shoes off when they first go down the road. No one notices the road is there, the doors that they go down, until Billy runs down the steps. Then it was like, oh, look, there's a door, and they opened it, and they run down it. He's the first that runs down the steps. And I'm pretty sure, and this is the thing, wasn't 100% confident, he's the one that starts all the trials. Like, he finds the record and plays it. He's the one that found the Ouija board. He's the one that
The
I think
invitation.
found the invitation. Yeah. Like, it's always Billy who kicked off all the trials. So, except for I think the last one, but I'd have to rewatch it with when they're in the morgue type room.
Well, he did put the shoes on first.
Oh, that's true. He did put the shoes on first.
And he's like,
So,
fuck the road.
yeah. So like, yeah, so in a way they were saying it the whole time that Billy created it, which is also, there's interesting implications that he's at least just as powerful as his mother.
Mhm.
But
Oh yeah.
the other side of that is Alice, who was our first witch to die. I mean, if you don't count Mrs. Hart. I know that wasn't her name, but
Sharon Davis.
sure, yes. She kept saying her mother went to the road.
Well,
Like,
people lie.
well, that's true, and maybe her mother lied to her, and maybe she never went to the road. But like, apparently she went to the road to lift the curse and didn't lift the curse. I don't know. So,
What? Why
so
was I thinking that, Thrawn? Why did I think
wait,
Stevie Nicks
which?
2 Gypsy song?
Oh, the whole show is a Stevie Nicks song.
Well, and I'll tell you why I was thinking that, because I used to work for a company that would have me go around businesses of a small town and try to sell phone book advertising. But one of those hard, fast rules is if you do a tarot reader, they have to pay up front. Like everyone else, we would just bill. But if they were a tarot card reader or a fortune teller or whatever, like the company specifically had a rule that they had to pay 100% up front. Um, I found that anyway. So yeah, Stevie Nicks Gypsy. I'm back.
That was like, sorry, that was a reference that flew right over my head. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a white woman thing. Don't worry about it.
Is that what
It
it is?
is.
Okay.
It is. It absolutely is.
Yeah, and then also you can also argue, why didn't Lilia also see this? Like, because she knew who Billy was and how powerful he was. Like, she never figured out, oh, he created all this. Like, that's never,
No, I
that
mean,
never comes up.
it did get like, what is it, written in a single line where it's like, time isn't linear. It's a big ball of wibbly wobbly, timey wimey stuff. And it's like, the doctor understands this because his brain is complicated, that he can cognitively see the timeline itself. But
Yeah.
like a normal human brain would be like, flashes.
True. But yeah, I don't know. It's a lot of weird things about that. So I like that. It left me questioning, was this the plan all along? And it probably was. But in some aspects, I felt like they just tacked this on at the end, because I feel like they could have wrapped it all up in one episode. It could have just been one episode 7 that was maybe 10 minutes longer, of when the ghost shows and she kind of like explains real quick, oh yeah, I created it as a way to trick witches. And then he goes, oh, so I created it with my power. Yeah. And then they have their little confrontation, which is the other weird thing about the ending of the show. He's trying to banish her, and because she can pick up her pendant, all of a sudden it's like, okay, I'm not going to kill you now. Like, what was that? Like, he's trying to banish her, and then all of a sudden it just stops, without, like, because she mentioned Nicholas, and it was like, no, he still doesn't trust her. But I don't know, I just thought that was weird too. Like, there's no resolution. It's just like, okay, well, now we're gonna go find my brother Tommy. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, there was a lot about this series that I feel was like useless and a waste. Uh, this could have been 4 episodes at most, because really, what do we learn? We get the origins of Wiccan. which I think is a bit convoluted, seeing as he is, like his mother, a reality warper, hence why the road even exists.
Right.
So we could have a much simpler explanation as to why he exists, but okay, nonetheless, they do that. But it's just the origins of Wiccan and why he has Agatha Harkness, the ghost, helping him on his quest. Outside of that, we spent all this time learning about these other witches that in the end were just fodder. I actually called it. They're just fodder. Don't get me wrong. I like the whole aspect that, like, yeah, this was, I understand, the lesson there. Like, her son didn't, he helped her get these other witches, but he regretted doing so. Yet, even after his death, though, he was responsible of setting up the mechanism that she uses to get these other witches and sustain her power in life. Like, that was kind of cool. But do we need 8 episodes, 4 of which are just telling us about these witches that are just going to die? Like they're not even special. Like, they show like all these witches dying. So all these ones we learned all this time about, they weren't anything special at all. So that was my biggest thing about this whole series. It didn't need to be, we didn't need 8 hours of Agatha All Along. We didn't.
Yeah, I mean, we now have a Marvel accurate version of Death in the MCU too as well. I don't disagree with you. I'm trying to think. There was something you just said, and I can't remember.
It'd be hard to defend it though. It's like, well,
yeah, because like there are definite issues with this show. Because there are a couple things that just don't make sense when you really start thinking about it. Again, Billy not realizing it was him until the end is weird.
Neither did Wanda, so
yeah. Agatha sacrificing herself, saying it was a calculated risk, and then like you think, oh, something's like she's got a backdoor plan to get a body back, but no, she's still just a ghost at the end. So there's real no resolution to her story yet.
I got a question. Does the Fantastic Four set in the future or in the past?
Wait, in the MCU?
Well, in general.
Well,
sure.
I mean, my understanding
in the past and an alternate reality.
Yeah, the first movie is going to be in the past and an alternate reality, and they're going to somehow get sucked into our reality.
Okay.
I'm going to
because I know Franklin Richards has Agatha as a nanny in the future.
Yes,
and that's what leads to Kane the Conqueror.
They said in one future he rides on Galactus's shoulder. So I mean yeah, it's Franklin Richards.
I mean,
yeah. Well, Franklin
comics
Richards
are weird.
Franklin Richards is also one of the most powerful beings in the MCU or the comics. So
because he's a mutant, a reality warping mutant.
Right. Thrawn says, so telling him about the road gave him his subconscious blueprint to build it in reality. Thrawn, did you watch the episode? It's basically she created the legend of the road with this song that like just went throughout the witches community for generations and generations, and she was able to use it to lure people to kill them, basically.
Well, and also, to try and save her son. I thought that was the other part of it too. Because like she even says in the last episode, I'm like, do the purple. I was like, yeah, I can do the purple. I can blow things up. I can move things with my mind, but I cannot divine when she's coming. I cannot protect you from her when she shows up.
Yeah,
and I cannot find a way to bring you back.
That was it. That was the other point I wanted to bring up, which drove me nuts by the end, was and it's a good thing Hassan's not on tonight, because he would be like, oh, see, it's terrible. But
yeah, see, there's no through line with this plot.
They make you feel like she made a deal with death and had to give up Nicholas at some point, but something
Yeah,
happened,
that
right?
was the point. She get all the witches, she gets the bodies, and as long as that exchange keeps happening, Nicholas is safe. And then the one time Nicholas is like, "No, not today," and they're like, "Fine, not today. Maybe one
But one
day
time, like,
will be enough."
it just it felt weird. Like, I don't feel that was explained. I don't feel like I understood what was going on. I thought the deal was something much bigger. Like, it's how she got her power in the first place was by giving up her son. But
I thought she
no,
got the dark hold from giving up her son, but apparently, like she says in the show, sometimes boys just die, and it's like, oh.
see, because in
But
the
like
comics,
I thought Nicholas was coming out like problematic. Like Nicholas was dying when he was getting born. And that's why they had that scene with like Ro and her. And it's like, not right now. Give me, I can't, like, I don't want to lose it right now. And it's like, I can only give you time. That's what I can give you in exchange is time. And it's like, okay, I'll take it. And then Nicholas pops out. Nicholas is a beautiful baby boy, but there's now a price on his head. And so she goes out and starts hunting witches when he's a child in exchange for time with Nicholas.
I mean, I guess, I don't know, it just still seems weird to me. And then, because in the comics, Nicholas is also responsible for the Salem 7. So they totally erased that connection in the MCU. Like, so they
Yeah,
don't
but I
explain
think
who the
there's still
Salem.
2 more out there. There was only 5 bodies in the tower.
Well, that's true. And they don't explain the Salem 7. And it's like, so are we never going to get, like, said it? Nicholas was just a kid who died. Like,
That was
we're
it.
never going to get him in the MCU.
No.
You know?
There's no Mephisto, none of that shit.
Oh, I did see an article too that came out that said the writer of the show said there was never a plan to have Mephisto in this show.
Yeah.
So they just
But there
name
was a
dropped him
plan to
in
get Madison. But she couldn't do it.
And
I was like, fuck. That'd have been filling my bingo card. I'm like, yes.
maybe she'll be in Wonder Man.
Yeah, she's definitely gonna be a Wonder Man.
Yeah.
He's like, oh my God, you're so strong.
So I guess the thing that we got out of this show at the end of the day is Wiccan Billy Maximoff is now in the MCU. Yay!
Yeah. And Tommy, speed.
Well, maybe. We don't know.
What are you talking
Unofficially.
about? Unofficially.
Like,
I don't
did
know
he
if
say-
mentions count as first appearances in comics.
And Jen, the witch lady, she's still out there somewhere.
Yes. Yes. So we'll see. She was bound and broke her bondage. That
She's our weather witch.
and that's another thing. Like, there's the confession that Agatha bound her, but like that's it. Like, what? There was no story. Like, that's a flashback I would have wanted to see a little bit. Like, her what made her bind her? Like, what was that all about? You know. That seemed a little odd and out there. Like, oh yeah, no, I was paid or I was taking money from you. Like, really? Was that it?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. But give us 45
You did what you
minutes.
had to survive. She said it before. It's like, don't feel guilty about taking over your power, whatever she told Wiccan in that scene. He's like, yeah. That's what makes you a witch. You fuck people over.
She had her power the whole time. It was the power was inside her all along, right? That was the moral.
No, I thought it was an unbinding spell. I was like, no, all right, fine.
Well.
Now that she know, that's why it didn't work when she did to that guy, because it's like that guy didn't steal your power. It was Wanda, or it was not Wanda.
Yes,
Agatha.
Yes. So now we have Wiccan looking for Tommy. Are we going to get Young Avengers?
Yes.
What do you think?
Eventually.
Yes. Oh yeah.
When they're all in their 30s, they'll finally get them together.
Exactly.
Yep.
They'll de-age them with CGI.
Eventually.
Yeah.
got to happen within the next 2 years, right? Because like, I think Catherine, what's her face from Ant-Man, she's about to hit 32.
Yeah, and that was the thing, right? Because I had saw something a while ago where they mentioned Young Avengers, and then there's been nothing since then. And it's like, okay, but yeah, like if you're going to at least give us a mini series, another 8-episode,
maybe it's a big teaser at the end of Thunderbolts.
Asterix.
Oh,
Asterix.
I forgot Thunderbolts is a thing.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Superhero Speak podcast. And don't forget to watch us live every Sunday night right here on this channel.
While you're here, hit the subscribe button and click the bell for notifications so you won't miss out on any of our great upcoming content.
Speaking of content, don't forget to check out our website, superheroespeak.com, where you can find the podcast, links to our social media, merch, comic reviews, and so much more. That's superheroespeak.com.
Thanks for watching, and don't let your cape be caught in the door. See you next time.